Pichai has been promoted as the Alphabet CEO.
About that, Adobe CEO Shantanu Narayan.
Arvind Krishna is the Chief Executive Officer.
Meet Neil Mohan, 49-year-old Indian American who will now be heading YouTube.
If you notice something in common, these all are Indian origin personalities that are leading some of the world's biggest tech giants. But despite Indians having such a talent, why Piyush Goyal criticized startups at the Startup Mahakumbh?
Aman Gupta, Shark Tank में जरा change करो अपने perspectives को. We are focused on food delivery apps, turning unemployed youth into cheap labor so the rich can get their meals. And against that, what does a Chinese startup do? Work on developing electric mobility, battery technologies. भारत ने क्या करना है? आइसक्रीम बनानी है या चिप्स बनाने हैं?
And if you understand this closely, there are two main questions to be asked. Why India hasn't built a single global tech leader yet, and why Indians being so talented choose to go abroad to build and lead instead in India. And if you put these two questions side by side, they completely contradict each other. On one hand, Indians are leading the tech world, on the other, India is still struggling to build world-class tech on its soil. So in this video, let's dive deeper and understand what's happening to businesses inside the fourth largest economy.
4 नंबर की इकोनॉमी बहुत है क्योंकि हमारा ये लक्ष्य है हम विकास चाहते हैं हम प्रगति चाहते हैं.
Despite India being the third largest startup ecosystem, India's startup scene is still dominated by consumer focused platforms like e-commerce, fintech, or service based apps. While we see many Make in India brands coming out in the market, majority of them are heavily dependent on outsourcing. Let's take music and audio tech industry as an example. We have many popular Indian brands coming out in the market, but if you look from the back, majority of them are manufactured in China and just packed in India. Until recently, many of these brands have even shifted their partial manufacturing within India. So yes, there is a progress in hardware manufacturing, but if we talk about building core tech from scratch, we are still at a very early stage. Now contrast this with China. China has already shifted gears. They are now focusing on AI, semiconductor and EV innovation. While India is still scaling its consumer platforms, China is building the deep tech that shapes the future. So what exactly is a deep tech? Deep tech basically means turning any theoretical idea or concept into real life through advanced science and engineering. For instance, a normal tech company would build a food delivery app that connects restaurants, delivery workers, and users efficiently. A deep tech company would build a system where food is delivered by drones using AI and quantum level GPS. Now let's look at the kind of tech companies we are building here in India. A large part of our tech ecosystem is based on platforms, not products. Apps that seamlessly connect restaurants, delivery workers, cab drivers, and small sellers, but often without real value creation or long-term innovation. And what's even worse, these platforms often turn self-employed youth and shopkeeper into a cheap gig worker. No job security, no growth path, just low-paid task in the name of digital revolution. So again, the question is, if Indians are so much talented, why aren't we building the next Google, Tesla, or Nvidia here in India? To understand this, let's go deeper and understand the root causes of this problem on the journey of Rohan. Meet Rohan, a 23-year-old engineer from Pune with a brilliant idea to solve India's EV battery efficiency problem, an AI-based solution to improve EV efficiency by 25%. He is full of passion and ready to make the difference. But little did he know, the journey ahead was not in his favor. Rohan starts by applying to colleges for necessary resources. But right from the start, he realizes that Indian education system is more focused on rote learning than critical thinking and research. His college doesn't provide the kind of practical exposure he needs or the environment that encourages hands-on research and development. And if you step out of top engineering colleges in India, most colleges even lack labs and R&D culture. It feels like he's trapped in a system that isn't preparing him to solve real-world challenges, the kind of challenge that comes with building something new. Disappointed, Rohan manages to build the basic model and moves to the next step, finding investors. But here too he faces a roadblock. Investors, those who are willing to listen, are reluctant to fund deep tech ideas like his. But before blaming them directly, let's understand these startups need 7 to 10 years of R&D, hardware iteration, certification and time to scale, with a high risk of failure. Rohan talks to investors, but they pull back saying it's too risky, slow, and without any early sign of traction. Maybe the real issue isn't just investors' mindset, it's that we don't have enough research backed ideas coming out of our education system. Initially, this high risk startups needs to be supported by government in order to survive. So then he decided to turn up to government for help. On research, he found that the government has rolled out several schemes, like the Startup India Seed Fund scheme offering up to 50 lakh for early stage startups, IDEX for defense tech innovation with 1 crore supports, Digital India Genesis with a 750 crore program to boost startups in smaller cities, and 76,000 crore India Semiconductor Mission. With all the schemes and initiatives launched by government to support startups in India, he should be able to find some relief, right? But here's a catch. On paper, these schemes might look great, but when Rohan tries to access these resources, he faces a nightmare. Bureaucracy, endless paperwork, and compliance slows everything down. And the very system meant to support him seems to work against him. And the process feels more like a hurdle than a help. In fact, many founders shared their story on Reddit about despite of available funds, accessing them is a bureaucratic nightmare. A founder's startup was eligible for certain tax exemptions, but his application sat on the table for 2 years, returning last week and got a call from a facilitator who promised quicker response if he could afford his personal services. For someone who just wants to make a real impact, this feels like a slap on his face. He even shared an incident when he approached a defense official saying, "We have solved some of your tech problems already, and here's what we did." But instead of curiosity, he got a long rant about how they are not dumb and working day and night to solve problems themselves. And the irony was, this was a 2 day long public private partnership event. And if this wasn't enough, he also faces the problem of excessive regulations. And at the same time, every year brings more paperwork and every government department seems to have a different set of rules to follow. He starts losing focus on his core business and has to spend major part of his time managing compliance instead of working on his product. If you see, on one hand, government wants fast moving innovation, but securing these innovations takes almost 3 to 5 years. And what's more is, conflict management in India adds another layer of frustration. A dispute between a bank and a business, which could be easily solved within months, took 17 years due to repeated adjournment, miscellaneous application, and other minor reasons. Even the court said that such delays in commercial matters would hamper the growth of the economy. Now let's step back and think. Rohan is fictional, but the story is real. This is a story of 10,000 Rohan across the country, young, talented, ambitious, but slowed down every day by the system that loves to talk about startups but rarely supports them when it actually matters. So, what are the potential solutions for this? Fixing education structure. We need to stop relying only on top colleges. Every engineering college in India should be well equipped with proper labs and R&D culture, providing training in fields like AI, robotics, and deep tech. Second, by making startup schemes fast and simple. Startup India, IDEX, all these schemes are great, but execution needs to catch up. Funds should be released faster, forms should be simpler, and one unified platform should exist where every startup can apply, track, and grow. Third, by supporting deep tech with money and speed. Deep tech isn't just risky, it's time consuming. So the government should co-invest with private players to fast track patent process and create special deep tech zones with access to infrastructure and legal help. So concluding all, India doesn't lack talent, nor does it policies. But until our system gets more faster and transparent, deep tech will remain the dream running in slow motion. The day we start valuing innovation more than paperwork is the day real change will begin. Thank you.